Right, so man, what a busy week I've had. I'm only just getting to this video now. So today is Sunday the 30th of August. So we'll continue on with the Model 38 build. Basically, this video we're going to continue on from where we left last time. We are going to install the pulley that will drive the blade. We'll also install the height adjuster, which will pivot the cutting depth of the blade. And we'll also install the belt tension pulley. So a couple of steps here. We're almost complete with this build. So here we go. We'll install the pulley first. So this is pretty straightforward. The pulley will just screw straight onto the back of the blade shaft. So it's just a thread. One thing to note, that inside the pulley here there is a hole. So this hole is there for a reason. So basically you could stick a screwdriver in that hole and you can get a bit of tension on the pulley, so you can tighten up the pulley. So basically the pulley won't come flying off. It shouldn't come flying off anyway, because the rotation of the blade will continually make it tighter. So I'll do that now. It's quite simple. So as you can see, pulley's on there. I will tighten that up again. Once I've got the blade on here, something that I can actually hold, so I can sort of get some leverage there. But basically I'll slip the belt over there. Now you can sort of see as that belt spins, it's going to rotate the blade. So that's good. Secondly, we'll install the belt tensioner, which is this little bracket here. So this bracket here mounts down here like so. Basically all that is an L bracket with a bearing. The bearing will go onto that, and then the bearing also has a sleeve. So basically the sleeve just protects the bearing from the belt. So that'll get pressed into here. Once we've done that, we'll press that onto the bracket, and that's just a simple one bolt, and you sort of bolt that in a position where the belt is tight but not over tight. So first step, we'll push this bearing into its little housing. That's quite simple. We'll just get a socket and a hammer. So there you have it. That's quite simple. Basically there's a little lip on the inside of the collar. Just push the bearing down until it hits that lip. You can't go any further, and once she's in there, she's in there. So now we'll press that bearing onto the bracket. Now, one thing to note, this bracket actually has two little knots. So those knots, basically you push the bearing on there, and then those knots will get pressed into this bracket. That prevents the bearing coming off this bracket. So once I've got the bearing on there, I can't replicate that exactly. However, I'm going to get an old screwdriver and belt the side of this bracket, and that'll distort the metal just enough to keep the bearing from falling off. Okay, so now we push the bearing onto the L bracket. We've got the sleeve on the bearing. I've gone ahead and I've just found an old screwdriver, and I've belted the sides of this L bracket. You'll see that's bent the metal on the L bracket out just a little bit. That's going to hold the bearing on there. The bearing's an extremely tight fit anyway, so I can't see that coming off. But just to be cautious, I've done that. Next step is basically to bolt that onto the pivoting arm. One thing I will note, and I will say, is that this sleeve that's on the bearing, I've got the collar on the inside of the bearing. So basically, if you have the collar around the other way, if you have the collar on the outside of the bearing, there's every chance that that collar can come off. If you install it on the inside of the bearing, even if it does come off, it's still going to be attached to the L bracket. So just take note of that. This is something probably somewhat crucial, I suppose. Anyway, so we'll bolt that onto the pivoting arm. That's just one bolt and a spring washer. There's really nothing to it. Here we go. Okay, there we have it. You can see that the belt goes around this pulley for the blade, and then it goes down to this adjustable bracket. So I bolted that on there. Yeah, that's about it really. So next step, we'll mount the adjusting blade depth adjuster. So that mounts all up here, and that will control the pivoting of this pivot bracket. So I forgot to push play on the video player, but basically how I'm going to attack this is I'm going to install this, the easiest piece, so this small bracket here. So basically that's just a bolt, a washer, and then a nylock. Once I've installed that, which I've already done, I'm going to install the L bracket. So the L bracket has a bolt that's welded directly onto it, so you can't remove that. What slips over that is a cork washer. So that cork washer is pretty crucial. I've left the cork washer on there simply for the fact that I know that I can't buy that. So the one I have is actually in quite good condition. I've taken care not to damage it, and I've left that on there. So the point of that cork is to sandwich between the two pieces of metal. Once that happens, the cork actually grips the metal, and once it grips, it will hold the desired depth of the blade. So it's quite a crucial piece. It's quite a simple thing to make yourself. So I mean, if yours was damaged or something like that, I'm sure you could make one simple enough. So basically, that's what I'm going to do here. So that's going to mount onto this smaller piece, like so. And from here, this piece has a spring. So there's a spring that goes on here, and it's very crucial. That spring will hold tension onto the cork. That constant tension on that cork will provide a constant grip, which will prevent the blade from slipping down and hold the desired depth that you're trying to cut at. So how that all mounts is you have a brass bush. So basically that goes on first. Now that's basically just to stop having the spring constantly pushing against the metal. So you don't want that. So basically that will wreck the spring, wear the spring away. So a brass bush, if your brass bush was damaged, I'm sure you could probably just use a simple washer. It's basically the same thing. Then you slip your spring over that, another washer, and then again another nylock. So a nylock will hold on there and won't come loose once it's all tightened up. Like so. The other end of this pivot bracket has quite a big hole. Now this big hole actually gets a sleeve put in there. So basically that sleeve slips into there, and that just allows that when the bolt goes through that sleeve, it allows this piece to not be tight, basically, so you can move it up and down freely. So that is pretty crucial. From that point, it's just a matter of a bolt and a washer, slip through that sleeve, and then that bolts onto the engine bracket up the top here. Okay, so now I've mounted all this is loose, so I'm going to tighten these bolts. Now it is pretty crucial not to tighten them too much. If you tighten them too much, you won't be able to pivot this arm at all. So basically tighten it up until it grabs. Once it grabs, just do a quarter turn off, and that should be enough to hold it all in place. So as you can see, I've tightened them up, not over tightened them. The bracket now holds its own position. That's thanks to this cork up here and the constant pressure from the spring. I've used nylock nuts everywhere. Basically the nylock nut can be tightened onto the bolt, not extremely tight and not come off. That's the point of a nylock nut. So there we have it. So basically next video we're going to install the blade. Once we've got the blade on there, we'll install the cow. We'll stick the stickers on the cow and we'll mount the handlebars, and then basically we are done. So hopefully the next video will be out in the yard using this. So thanks for watching, I appreciate it. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.